In the past, when the priest put the ashes on our foreheads, he would say, "From dust you came, to dust you shall return." Sa ating wika, parang sinasabi niya, alalahanin mo, mamamatay ka rin. Those words make us afraid. Perhaps fear is one of the reasons why many people flock to the church during Ash Wednesday. Fear. You know, many psychologists and physicians say that fear is more deadly than poison, than bacteria and viruses. Fear causes many physical ailments and can lead to emotional and spiritual breakdown and to the breakup of friendships and families. In a study conducted by a US survey firm, 86% of adults consider themselves as suffering from chronic fear. They spend a minimum of 1 hour and 50 minutes a day being afraid, which adds up to 12 hours and 53 minutes a week, or 28 days a year. And since most of their fears remain suppressed, these cause more intense stress or tension. The intensity of our fear is actually inversely proportional to the strength of our faith. The more we are afraid, the less we believe. You know, fear looks forward, but faith looks up. Faith gives us a sense of perspective. That is why Jesus reminds us, "O you of little faith, do not be afraid about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Sufficient for the day is its own evil." So if today, my dear brothers and sisters, you are again fearing and worrying about many things, like death, take a deep breath. Focus your attention on what is going on in the Mass. When the priest says, "Do this in memory of me," as he lifts the host, it is as though Jesus is telling you, whenever you attend the Mass and receive communion, please remember me. I am here. Pay attention to me. Cast all your cares on me because I care for you. And as Isaiah wrote, even if your mother forgets you, God will never forget you. Oftentimes, we're afraid of things that are beyond our control. We waste our energy trying to figure them out, while we neglect to figure out those problems that are within our power to address. We endlessly discuss, for instance, about the wars in many places, the bad weather, terrorism, inflation, pollution, high prices of commodities, horrible traffic jams, and the latest earthquakes in many countries like Syria and Turkey, and many controversies involving celebrities and politicians. We worry about this, but we hardly lift a finger to solve the problems at home. Our relationships that are turning sour, the worsening quality of our conversation in the family, the clutter in our rooms, begging to be cleaned up, the good intentions and resolutions that we made this year but which we don't follow through. So during Ash Wednesday, we come face to face with the same fear, especially the fear of death. We have no control of death. But one haunting question we should ask ourselves is, why am I afraid to die? Why do we cling to life with all our might, even when we are afflicted by a lingering sickness, a prolonged stage of senility, or a painful sense of uselessness? For some, death is fearful because of the finality it brings with it. We love second chances. But for others, death means a judgment or punishment. And for those who do not believe in the afterlife, death is fearful, not so much because of an impending punishment, but because of the prospect of separation from a loved one. Still, for many others, the fear of death is the fear of not being remembered. In our world, where violence and murder continually escalate, we have learned to hide our fear of death through many defensive strategies. For instance, through funeral parlors that make corpses look alive, memorial parks that assure us that our dear departed have not really left, but are merely out of sight, the beauty cult that extols youth and despises aging, the mass media that trivializes death by bombarding us with its gory details. Our society has alienated us from the reality of death. It calms our fear by selling us fantasies that numb our terror of dying. But Christianity has shown us a way to overcome our fear of death. After all, Jesus came not only to teach us how to live, but also how to die. Of course, it is a lesson we have to learn ourselves, because even if Jesus died for us, He did not die our own death. By accepting His vulnerability, by being resigned to the finiteness of human existence, Jesus exposed what lies underneath our fear of dying. And what is that? It is nothing but our inordinate desire to control everything, to be invincible, to be exempt from the passage of time. The sting of death is our inability to admit that our earthly life has a limit. It has a boundary, and so our fear of death hinders us from living our life to the full. Because living fully means utilizing our lifetime to the utmost, not letting a single opportunity pass by unused. Death poses a constant reminder that every moment is precious, because every moment could be our last. There is wisdom in doing now what we postpone doing for tomorrow. As one elderly person wrote, "If you are ever going to love me now, where I can know the sweetest feeling that from true affection flow. Love me while I am living. Do not wait until I'm gone. Of what use is your love that is chiseled in marble, or sweet words on ice, cold stone? If you have tender thoughts of me, please tell me now. For if you wait until I'm sleeping, never to awaken, there will be death between us, and I won't hear you then. So if you love me even a little bit, let me know it while I'm still alive, so I may treasure it in my heart, and perhaps, who knows, I may spend my life loving you in return."